Superior attack!
Welcome back to Superior Attack. As always, I am Respecugnize. We are wrapped up, at least for the meantime, with all of the directional videos, meaning the ones I've made where it was not specific to a character, but the direction in which you should be moving in the game, how to get better, what to look for, what not to do, things like that. So we're going to get back to our normal thing in Overwatch, which is looking specifically at the characters, and look forward to Hero 28 or Wrecking Ball. And that will probably be the next video if that character is actually released to us in that time. I don't know the time frame on it. I just know that the director has given us the information on it. So let's go ahead and look at Junkrat. So Junkrat here is crazy, plain and simple. So if anyone play TF2, then you will almost immediately see that we got ourselves another grenade launching guy who blows things up and has a funny accent. So this is our demo man. It's up, instead of being Scottish, he is Australian. So let's look at his kit as normal. Always the way we do it, the standard way, is primary, secondary, left shift, E, alt, and then a discussion on how to do the character. So let's look at that. So on primary fire, we have the frag launcher. It is an arcing projectile shooter. A direct hit from a grenade will deal 120 damage, so pretty big payoff for being able to get the arcs on this thing. Once again, I guess this is the second time I'll say that if you are a Scorched Earth player, then you'll be able to use those skills. So splash damage from the grenade is based on the distance away from the grenade when it goes off. Maximum damage will be 80. That's the most you can get out of it. The minimum you will get out of it is 12.5 as long as they are in range of that grenade. The projectile speed is 17.5 meters per second, so it's on the medium side of speed. The area of effect is 2 meters in a bubble. The rate of fire is 1.66 shots per second. There are 5 shots in the magazine. The reload time is 1.5 seconds, and it will not headshot. So with this one, it's a grenade launcher, right? And those grenades bounce, and we're just blowing stuff up. So the grenade will bounce 3 times and explode, or it will hit an enemy and explode. Either way, that's the way you're going to get damage out of that one. So the next one up is the concussion mine, because there is actually no secondary fire. I don't know if you could hear me slamming on that right mouse button, but it's not going to do anything. So left shift is the concussion mine. It is also an arcing projectile. Of course, it does not have the range, but let's look at the damage. 120 splash max, 50 min. So once again, we have a bubble damage weapon here, 17.5 meters per second on the throw, 3 meter radius. There are 2 of them. It's not really a magazine. He just carries 2 before they recharge. The duration, it will sit there until you detonate it or the enemy team blows it up, and they can, and when they blow it up, it's not going to do any damage. The cooldown is 8 seconds for one charge, 16 seconds for both, of course, because he's going to have to reload both. And it will also not headshot. In addition, it will also give you some cool movement buffs, but we'll look at that when we get down to the range. But if we want to look at it flat out, left shift there's one, and there's another one. And as you can see, it's just going to sit there. I mean, we could basically just sit here forever. If you want it to go off, you have to hit the right mouse button, and it goes off with the car alarm sound. And you see, if we look at the left shift again, let's throw one. You can see it start the 8-second cooldown. If we throw the second, then we notice that the first one is no longer there. You cannot have 2 out at the same time. It's just not the way it works. Okay, moving on, we have Steel Trap. That's on E. It is 100 health unit, it will also sit there forever or until destroyed. The damage is 80. It has an area effect of 1 meter, so they have to step on it. I mean, that's it. It has a 1-second stun, and it will root for 3 seconds. So in the first second, they're not going to be able to have any action as it activates. And then 3 seconds after that, it will be a root effect that can only be broken. May can put an ice wall under it, and that will break it. I think there may be another way to break it, and I'll get back to that. But let's press E. It sits down there. For us, we can see it through walls. So if we run down here, see, we can see the trap. It's always going to show it. And then if we're not looking at it, we're going to get that little icon that shows the trap. For the enemy, they can also see it. And in this area, it's going to have a red light. So it does show up. So that you have to be kind of tricky with how you put it in places, and we'll get back to that. So yeah, the other way you can break that. So one is May can put her ice wall under it, and that will break it instantaneously. And then Orisa can hit Fortify and step on it, and that will break it also. Other than that, then people just shoot and get 100 health out of it. So that is our basic kit. The only thing left is the ult. But let's go and look at some basics of how to do things with it. So Junkrat is going to be your character that is really great for breaking bottlenecks and enemies that have turtled and dug themselves in, because the way it arcs, it'll allow you to get over walls as long as you can triangulate. I think that'll be... oh, I'm a little high. So about there. But it will allow you to do things like bounce them off walls. So whenever you get in those situations where you're really stuck, Hanamura is a good place to think about. And another good one would be Volskaya Industries. Those places that have those enclosed bottlenecks where Symmetras like to put their turrets up, Eichenwald, and in those maps where you have an arc like this, and you typically have a good team running a tank like a Reinhorn or something like that, and then maybe a sniper in the backfield and a bunch of hit scan characters up here, kind of in the midfield, and you wind up getting bogged down. Someone should probably switch to a Junkrat and start using line of sight. Like, let's say they were in that arc on the other side. See, I'm here. They cannot see me. And I can basically just kind of move this off of and bounce it. Nepal, I believe the match with the center point where it's an open one, it both teams have to get to it and someone has to claim it. Once you dominate that point, you can kind of get in the middle and start launching across and spawn and things like that. So, I mean, that's just it. It gives you the ability to kind of arc over things, and what you want to do is, if you're not firing directly at something, you just want to kind of constantly change the trajectory so that they can't get them clocked. So if I just sit here, every one of those is going to go in the same position, and you're not going to get any difference. They know to simply not stand there, move around. But if you're moving it like this, we're going to see that each one of those moves in a different direction. And because they are splash damage, as long as they are all moderately within that 2-meter range, they're going to start getting that splash damage from it. Other cool tech going to left shift. Because of the way Junkrat's character works with his passive, which is Total Mayhem, in that he cannot take damage from his own bombs. So if we look at this, they're bouncing. Now we get the knockback from it, but if you look at our health, we didn't take any damage. Because of that, using those concussion mines, we are able to get some movement buffs and get out of, and if done wrong, into some danger with Junkrat. So let's say we had characters coming up here. We want to move very quickly. See, we have been moved away, and we got that environmental kill right there. But another way to do it is while running, you can look down, drop a concussion mine, and right click, and that will put us up in the air, right? So there's actually nothing from stopping us from using it twice in a row. So we can run forward, drop, explode, and look how high we are. We're way up here now. And so Junkrat is a highly mobile character for those 16 seconds. Or I guess, I mean, since you're not really trying to move again, it's not really for 16 seconds. It just takes him 16 seconds to recover from his ability to get very high and very far forward. You can actually go further than that. I'm not really that great at the timing. I don't play a lot of Junkrat because someone else on the team does. But if you turn backwards on the second one, you can get a little more out of it. So let's see if I can not noob this up. And if I had continued if I had switched from forward to backwards, because I had now changed the trajectory, or if I had simply turned around after I faced that second one, we could have moved forward. So these are, you can throw these. Typically what happens is when this is not doing enough damage and an enemy is continuing to come towards people, you would normally do that. You'll time it with a second one. You can actually kind of cancel. It's not a true cancel, but you can kind of cancel the frames in your normal grenade with the throw there, and also get yourself out of the position with the enemy. It just kind of gives you some space on it. So looking at the steel trap, and they can only be one out at a time. We'll do another one. Steel trap, you typically want to do things like put it in shadows and areas where people won't see. So let's say this is not a great example, but if you put it there, the enemy may not see it, and coming around, they would get stuck here. Remember, for that first second, there is an actual stun where they can't do anything, and then thereafter, they have to wait the 3 seconds to get out of the trap, unless there's a Mei who springs them by putting her ice wall under it. But it's more effective to do things like put the steel trap in areas where they truly can't see it, and then putting a mine in the middle of it. So as you notice, you can't see even we can barely see that in there. We can see the trap, of course, but this is an instant 200 hit because they're going to take the full damage from the mine, and they're going to take that damage from the trap, and for those 4 seconds, basically, they can't do anything about it. So any of the heroes that are under 200 horse, I always want to say horsepower, any character that is under 200 hit points, the Symmetras, the Tracers, the Genjis, it's an insta-kill. And any of the wounded, moderately low non-tank hit point characters, like the McCree's, the unarmored Doomfist, if he hasn't gotten any hits with any of his stuff and done his the best defense to get up, you'll be able to get those kills. Another thing is, especially on large health packs and even on small health packs, if you put them correctly, a person who's not really looking at that too much probably won't see that coming over, and then it's too late. You can get your damage on that, and because they're probably going to health packs because they're already damaged. So that combination and being really sneaky with the trap, it is a little more difficult because, like I said, it does show up as there's a red light that the enemy will see because it's not their trap. But that brings us to his ult, which is the bane of many, many, many players' existence, especially non-healer support characters. Riptire is one of those ults that you hear me mention a lot because it is one of those Q win buttons, Q being the default for ult. It is a attack that does allow one player to completely change the tide and win the game by themselves, which is why often you will hear, if you're watching my games live on Twitch, you'll often hear the team joke about, oh, someone must have Q1. Or, yeah, I guess we're going to see a Q play, which will be when you get play of the game. A lot of times it's going to be a Junkrat with a single rip tire because they wiped the team and ended overtime, or they wiped the team and completely stopped the other team from being able to get overtime or win. Either way, if you're on attack or defense, it's one of those things that allows you to completely dominate. So with the rip tire, you're going to hit Q, and it's going to pop you into full third person behind the tire, and you have the ability to control this tire. Typically what you'll see is people will stall it and wait for an opportunity. You can jump with the tire, and then you just put it into an area that you want to decimate, and you let it go off. So the specs for that, the rip tire is 100 health, so it can be killed. It has recently, well, I don't know if it's too recently, but it has been nerfed in that the radius and the speed have both been reduced, because this was just something where when you heard Junkrat say fire in the hole, you knew between 1 and 6 people were going to die. It was not very uncommon to see, especially in non-competitive games, entire teams, in arcade will fall to it because they're huddled up on a point, behind Reinhardt or something like that. So 100 health on that. The damage is between 60 and 600 depending on where they are. So there you go, 600 health. This thing will kill. And as you notice, I did not say that it had a damage max like some of the other ones, like a Death Blossom, where it's basically going to have a damage cap. It can only do so much damage spread across the team. The rip tire will just do 600 damage to every single character that is sitting on top of it if you can get it. So it is 12 meters per second. Your movement speed, you will be immobilized, but the rip tire will move at that speed now. The area of effect is 10 meters, so looking at this, that is from here to there. That is the circle, and so you can see that it is quite deadly. The casting time is 1 second. The duration is 10 seconds from the time you hit Q. It will not headshot, and it takes 1,562.5 points of ult to get it, and Junkrat builds ult at 1% every 3.125, which is about standard build. As you noticed, and let's kill some of these guys so we can maybe get it up again. No pun intended. So Junkrat has the ability with that ult to completely wipe ults, which is typically what you're going to do is it's a counter ult, because you can usually get it out before another ult takes effect, such as a Deadeye. You probably have the ability to get that tire to the McCree, where if you can sight him before he has the chance to let it build enough to kill the entire team. It is one of the ults that ties very well with the Gravity Well from Zarya. With her basically putting the entire team in one place, and the fact that you have absolutely no damage cap on it, being able to wipe every character, even ones that are armored. If Symmetra has put down her armor, and maybe they picked up some extra armor from a rally from the Brigitte, or some of the armor packs from Torbjorn, it's still incredibly deadly. So what you don't want to do is take the tire and run it along the ground directly towards it. So if you have that enemy team over there, you don't want to just take the tire and stand out in the open and run it, because you will we can't see it on this view, but what's going to happen is when he does that fire in the hole, and it shows him take it out, start it, and kick it off, he holds his ears, he's completely immobile. So if you do that ult in the middle of a space like this, then for that entire 10 seconds, you're incredibly vulnerable. You will die if you stand in the middle and get shot like that. Now, the good news is that even if you die, you do still get the full 10 seconds on that tire or until it's destroyed. And you can still, I mean, you can still get the kill and decimate the team. Now, after it goes off, you're going to get your, your kill feed or whatever you have if you have that on. But you're going to be dead and you're going to have to repick another character. So it's better to often try to get that tire shot from a place where you can hide. So let's say in here, we know the enemy's over there. We're going to go in an area like this. We know we have 10 seconds. We hit that Q and come out and go. And of course, remember, we can stall it. We can jump it, holding space. We can make it go up to places. And we want to come out of unexpected areas where the team cannot adjust to it. Now they're going to go into panic mode. All of us do it. We hear fire in the hole, and the first thing, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? We're looking for it, and someone's going to try to spot it on the team. My team's very audible, and the tire's over here, and we kind of know the voice and have the ability to match it to the area because we can see where our allied heroes are, because you have the icons. But in pickup games, when you don't really have a lot of vocalization between yourself and the other team, you're not going to be able to do that. That's really something that's dependent on pre-mades and things like that. But once again, Junkrat is a character that doesn't fit into every map, but the maps that he does fit into, those bottlenecks, he's very good at breaking those bottlenecks, and he's also very good at getting into tight places and up and forward very fast because of the ability to use those bombs. Also, with his passive, which is Total Mayhem, when he does die, he's going to drop 6 grenades, and they actually do 50 damage per grenades. So that's 300 damage, and once again, looking at the health of characters, that can actually kill a lot of full health characters. So you have the ability, even after you die, to do a lot of damage. That'll wipe out the Symmetras and things like that. And once again, the Genji and the Tracer, because they're both under 200 hit points. So even I sometimes forget about it, or just wind up killing a near suicidal Junkrat because this Junkrat's coming at me with low health. It really doesn't matter. If I don't kill him, then he's going to kill me and I die. If I kill him and I'm kind of stuck in this room, there is a couple of seconds before they go off. They don't go off immediately. It's probably about 1 second, maybe 1.25 seconds before they go off. But many times, a good Junkrat player that knows the deal is going to use the ability to suicide to get you. So that is Junkrat in a nutshell, is what I was trying to say. That's the basics of Junkrat. Let's put it that way. And when he works very well. When he doesn't work, he really doesn't. But it's really all about breaking those bottlenecks, getting very good at using the trajectory, because you can't change the power of the shot. It's not like you can hold left and charge it. You're just going to have to use the height for your trajectory to get that grenade where you want it, but with the ability to do things like bounce it from line of sight and kind of break things. And then, of course, the utter terror that your Q button unleashes on a team with the ability to wipe everyone. Arguably, I don't know which one's more feared, this or the self-destruct from D.Va, but both of them make the hair on the back of my neck stand up, because I know that I am probably going to die, because I play a lot of support characters and tanks, and so I'm typically going to be the one that it goes after. And of course, whenever I play Orisa, I live in total fear of the Riptire, because with the speed of her projectile, it is very difficult to get that tire down, even if I see it coming towards me. It can be done, but it's not often. And if that tire comes out from above me, then there's pretty much it. And there's no way that Orisa's, even with 4 legs, for some reason she can't outrun the thing. So I'm going to stop talking. You're going to start playing. That's Junkrat. If I have any errors in the video, as always, send me a PM, a message, give me a tell, whatever way you need to get the information for me. I will try to come back in and change this up. Yay, we got more mayhem. But yeah, do that and I'll change the video. But remember to be patient because I'm not the best at the game. I'm just trying to get there. Have fun, guys.
Respecugnize game when I get on the move. Respecugnize game on Twitch and YouTube. Respecugnize, we the cool for the new and